That's a genius name. I mean, your last name is Duty. Duty's Daggers makes perfect sense.
Hello, my dudes. Welcome back to the channel. We got a knife review today of the Spyderco Native 5 Salt. A knife I've been enjoying very much as I've carried it the past week or so. Love it. I'm going to tell you all about it. First of all, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do it. We are growing quickly. We're having a lot of fun on this channel, on the lives, hanging out. Just subscribe. You'll be happy that you did. Follow me on Instagram, duties_daggers also. That's what I'll be announcing when I'll be going live and other channel news. So it's good to follow me there to stay up to date. So, the Spyderco Native 5. Excellent knife. Let's do some measurements here to help you get an idea of how big it is. So we got a blade length of just under 3 inches. It's like 2 15/16. The cutting edge, however, is almost exactly 2.5 inches. Overall, we've got about 6 7/8 inch. And then closed, we've got just under 4, about 3 15/16. I would call this a medium-sized knife. Let's put it up against some other Spydercos. The PM2. Definitely smaller than the PM2. How about the Smock? Definitely smaller than the Smock. It's basically kind of a shrunken down version of the Shaman, which I don't own. It's very sadly. The Manix 2. There you go. And how about my last Spyderco, the Roadie? Tiny little guy. So, it's smaller than all those knives. Actually, I have one more Spyderco. This has been lent to me by my buddy Andrew, and it's the McBee. It's tinier than all of them, but badass nonetheless. So, it's basically a shrunken down version of the Shaman. Very similar lines here. I wish I had one here to show you, but I'm sure you probably know. So, there it is, compared to some other Spydercos. How about some other knives in general? Let's check out the Kaiser Mini Beg Lighter. Bigger than that, baby. Oops. The Civivi Baby Banter. Bigger than that, baby. And then how about, let's do the Benchmade Griptilian. And then let's do the CJRB Pyrite. There you go. That should give you an idea of how big it is. Now, we have to measure the thickness behind the edge. Let's get my old calipers out. So, for frame of reference, the Baby Banter here is about 16 thousandths behind the edge. Very thin. One of the thinnest in my collection. Actually, the Mini Sheepdog here is a little bit thinner. It's about 16 thousandths behind the edge. The Griptilian, one of the thickest at around 25 thousandths behind the edge. And the Civivi Elementum is about 20 thousandths. So, hopefully that gives you a frame of reference for thicknesses behind the edge. Now let's check out the Native 5 here. It feels pretty thin, definitely not the thinnest, but it feels relatively thin. So let's see. We've got 21 back there. Got 22 in the middle. And then we've got 24 at the tip. So, not super duper thin, but not really thick either. Kind of like Civivi Elementum range. So that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good medium kind of thickness behind the edge for something that's going to be good for a wide range of cutting tasks. In general, I like a knife that's thin behind the edge, but if you're doing A lot of hard use type of stuff. You might want something a little bit thicker. So just kind of depends on what you're doing with the knife. I think around 20 thousandths is a really good kind of middle ground. So that's great. So Spyderco Native 5. This comes in a pretty wide variety of different versions. This here is the salt version, meaning this knife is completely rust proof. The blade steel is LC200N, a very highly corrosion resistant blade steel. We have stainless steel on the lock back, on the lock bar there. All the hardware has been coated, and I put the titanium clip on here, which also cannot rust. So this is completely rust proof. Really cool. I wanted to have a knife that couldn't rust in the collection. You know, whenever it's raining outside and I'm working out in the rain and I have a knife in my pocket, which I always do, I always take it out and put it in the truck because the thought of getting moisture inside the pivot of one of my knives, it drives me insane thinking about it. I don't know why, if it's an OCD thing or whatever it is. I don't like the idea of getting moisture in the pivot, or anywhere really. Um, I don't like it. It can rust. That's the it can corrode. It can mess with the action. It can destroy your blade if it was really bad. So just the peace of mind of having this in my pocket when it's wet out is really, really nice. I don't have to worry about it at all. That's it's a great knife, but honestly, that is one of the best things about it for me. Now they do make this knife in other versions that is not completely rust proof with different blade steel. They have G10 ones as well, but this is the one I have. So if you're thinking about getting a different one, a lot of the same things I'm going to talk about will apply to the other knives, just not the corrosion resistance part of it, but the ergonomics, the cutting geometry, everything else is the same. We have Spyderco's FRN, GRN, whatever they are, handles, which, typically I do not like. They do feel typically kind of plasticky and cheap, but for some reason these feel a little bit different than typical kind of plastic scales that I've experienced. They feel more like G10 than anything else, which is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I don't like that cheap plasticky feeling. This does feel like that to some degree because obviously it's not titanium or something like that, but it feels way, way better than a lot of the FRN that I've felt. So that was very kind of pleasantly surprising when I unboxed this. I really love the texturing. This is kind of Spyderco's typical texturing they do on these types of lightweight knives or salt knives. It's kind of bi-directional, so you can see that we have a flat spot in the center, and then kind of emanating out from that, these pieces on the right kind of angled out this way. These ones, or sorry, on the left are kind of angled up the opposite way. So it gives you good traction, both this way and this way. So that's great. Definitely provides a lot of grip, but it's not too grippy to the point where it's sharp. It's just grippy enough. I really, really like it. Not only functionally, I think it looks really cool too, especially in this kind of lime green. Typically, Spyderco Salt series have yellow handles. This one in particular is green. I'm not sure why it's green. If it was an exclusive with some distributor, I don't know. But I like this much better than the yellow. The flat spot here is actually not just aesthetic, it is for the pocket clip. You can see it rests right on that flat spot. Even this aftermarket one did as well, which is really cool. This is from MXG, by the way. So it rests right on the flat spot, so when it's going in and out of your pants, it's not pinching your seam in between the clip and this really rough stuff. It's on this flat spot, so it just glides in and out of the pocket a lot easier. Really, really cool. Speaking about the clip, like I said, it's from MXG. The clip that came on this was the typical Spyderco clip. It was just coated black for the corrosion resistance. But if you go to MXG, make sure that you buy the clip that is for the Native 5 lightweight. It's a different clip than the normal Native 5. So if you have this knife make sure you get the one that's for the lightweight. And I love the clip. Like I said, rests right on the flat spot. It works fantastically well. It goes in and out of the thick seam on my Carhartts easily. I love how it looks. Just a really good job. They did a great job on this clip. So let's talk ergonomics. Really good. I mean, just really, really, really good. It's different from some other Spydercos in the, because it doesn't have kind of the hump, the thumb ramp hump that the PM2 and Para 3 in particular have, and some others, which, is ergonomic in its own way, especially if you're choked back here on the PM2. You feel really locked in, getting your thumb right there, and even choked up if you want to kind of crunch back a little bit. So it's definitely served its purpose. But I really kind of like just the line here. That's no humps, just kind of a slightly curved line on the spine and the back of the handle here. It kind of feels like it's just a little bit more roomy. I can choke back, I can choke up. My thumb doesn't have to be in a specific spot. It can kind of just float wherever it feels comfortable here on the spine. So I really like that. The Manix 2 has a little bit of a hump, but not nearly as severe as the PM2, which is one of the reasons I think the Manix 2 has better ergonomics than the PM2. But the Native 5 here, no hump at all. Just feels a little bit more roomy. It has the forward finger choil, very generous. Like all, or not all, but most Spydercos. We all have the forward finger choil. This one feels even a little bit more roomy, though, than the PM2. You can see it is, actually, a bit more roomy than the PM2. And a bit more roomy than the Manix 2 as well. Interesting. I actually just noticed that. So, with the hump not being there and the more roomy finger choil, this just feels really comfortable. Really, really comfortable. You don't feel as locked in as you do on the PM2. I mean, even if you have bigger fingers than I do, this is still going to be really, really comfortable for you. Fantastic. Really fantastic ergonomics. You can choke back. I can still get a full grip on it choked back. I don't know why you would hold it like this. To me, this is how you hold the knife. For me, right there. Amazing, amazing ergonomics. I love being that close up to the edge. I kind of wish the jimping would extend a little bit farther, but that's not really Spyderco's thing. For some reason, they don't like to extend it. Choked up even, you can still hit it. Unless you want to hold it kind of more like this, then you're not going to be hitting the jimping. Not a huge deal, though. I really like the blade shape. Typical Spyderco leaf-shaped blade with a nice low tip. We got a little bit of a swedge up here, full flat grind. We saw how thin it was at the edge. Not ridiculously thin, but reasonably thin. I think this is a really good work knife. I've been carrying this at work for the past a little over a week, and I just love it. I really love it as a work knife. Let's talk about the action. So this is a lockback, like you saw. And as a result of that, this is not the most fidgety knife in the sense that you can easily flick it open. Now, I hear that they break in over time. For me, I cannot thumb flick it or reverse flick it without wrist action. If I put a lot of wrist in it, well, maybe not. Yeah, if I get a lot of wrist, I can thumb flick it. I cannot reverse flick it, though. Like I said, I've seen people do it, so maybe they do break in over time. Honestly, for this knife, I don't even care, though. One of the reasons for that is it's really satisfying to slow roll open. We have a really nice snap when you lock it out. It feels really solid and nice to just bam, snap it open like that. And then closing it, you can do it two-handed or one-handed, but you get a nice pop when it closes too. It just feels nice and solid and tight. I really like that. You can do it one-handed by just pushing the lock back The blade doesn't really fall, so it kind of falls halfway, then you let go, and then you just use your thumb to snap it the rest of the way closed. So actually, once you kind of get used to it, it is a pretty easy knife to operate one-handed. Definitely pretty easy. I just think this is a really satisfying slow roller. I really like it that way. If it eventually loosens up to where I can flick it, cool, that's fine. But honestly, I don't even care. It just feels really solid. There's no blade play whatsoever. Very solid lockup. And it's perfectly centered, which for lockbacks is not always the case. For whatever reason, with a lockback, on a lot of lockbacks that I've handled at least, they're not centered. This one is perfectly centered. Really, really nice. Very, very nice. I love this knife. I really, really am completely, really digging it, man. Like I said, if you're not looking for the rust-proof nature of it, there's other versions with other blade steels or G10. But I just think you should have a rust-proof knife in the collection. For whatever you're doing. I go kayaking once in a while, not all the time, but when I do, absolutely going to carry this thing. Camping, this would be a great knife. Food prep, camping or not camping. This would be an excellent knife, good low tip. You can wash it off in the sink, not worry about it. This is just really cool. One other thing, what was I going to say? Crap. Oh, yeah. The blade to handle ratio, or at least the cutting edge to handle ratio, is might bother some people. With this, very generous finger choil, you are losing some cutting edge. Like I said, it's the cutting edge is only. Let's see, what did I say? Just under 2.5 inches. Personally, does not bother me one bit. With these excellent ergos, it doesn't matter to me that I only have 2.5 inches of blade. That is more than enough for my day-to-day activities and cutting tasks. Does not bother me whatsoever. I don't even think it looks off. To me, it looks perfectly good. Sometimes if you have a small cutting edge, big handle, sometimes it'll look a little bit funky. Not on this one for me. I think this is a very good looking knife. Functionally, it is excellent. Really recommend this thing. I think I paid around $145. I think it's pretty reasonable. PM2s are what, like 180 almost now. The Manix 2s are pretty pricey too. This one was a little bit more because of the 15V. But $145 for a very high quality Spyderco rust proof, I think it's a good deal. I haven't had any of this LC200N blade steel before, so I hear it's got pretty decent edge retention, but we will see. I have stropped this a few times already. I've been using it a lot at work, so I use it at work, I take it home, and I strop it up. And it gets back to very, very sharp pretty quickly on the strop. Pretty impressive, to bring back the edge that quickly on the strop. So that's a good sign. Responds well to the strop. That's good. But over time, we will see. I will keep you guys updated on the how it holds up. And that's about it. That's the Spyderco Native 5. Really love it, like I've said a few times now. Just an excellent work knife and rust-proof knife if you need that in your life. There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Use my links below. I will link this down below also. And become a channel member. There's different perks you get for different levels of membership. The lowest one, which a couple people have joined already, I think it's $3 a month, and you get a members only video, one per week of those. I just recorded the one for them for this week, and it's going to be released today on Saturday. This video is probably not coming out on Saturday, but yeah, if you become a member, you're going to get a video per week that only you can see and other members. And you'll get shout outs and special emojis to use. And you'll get a little emblem by your name that signifies that you are a member. So cool stuff. I would really appreciate it if you guys join. Really helps me out. I'm not making hardly any money from the channel, and it would be really nice to make a little bit of something to help pay for some knives. So, but if you don't want to, obviously, just the fact that you're watching and commenting and liking the video is enough for me. I'm so grateful for even just that. So I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's let's make next year even better. Love you guys. Peace and love. See you in the next one.